What's up guys, I wanted to tell y'all about the Windtrace meta. Now what do I mean by meta? Well, it means the strongest strategies that we know of as of now that you should be doing if you want to win your games. Of course this is Genshin after all, and having fun is always going to be more important than winning. But I haven't seen a comprehensive Windtrace guide as of recording this video, so I wanted to make this for you all. Let's get right into it. So the first thing we need to understand about Windtrace is what makes a strong position. Here I start the game not in the ideal position, but a good one nonetheless. From this angle I get to see the hunter and where they're coming from. Once I see they're running away from me, distracted with something else, I try to climb up to a better position. Elevation is always going to be key in Windtrace because it allows you to get to more parts of the map more quickly, as well as forcing the hunter to climb up to you if they want to chase you. Because I was in a high position when the favor descended, I was able to steal it from the hunter and get away. Once I turn this corner, I find myself in another strong position. From here, I can see the only angle where the hunter is going to come from. If he happens to check me, I have the option to escape with transparency and go either high or low, and the hunter has a really hard time finding me. Both the angle of your position as well as the elevation is going to make your position very strong. In addition to having a lot of nearby obstacles or buildings to run around, increases your potential for escape. As a hunter, you want to be aware of these strong positions the whole game. Going into the first hunter game, I actually hear a rebel move around in their disguise very close to me, and this lets me catch them almost right away. Notice how I'm using Mysterious Hunch, but I'm waiting until I get into a high position before I use it. I'm also positioning myself very specifically because I want to take advantage of the 80-20 rule. Basically, this strategy means you want to put 20% of the map behind you and 80% of the map in front of you. This means that if any footsteps from Mysterious Hunch go behind you, you know exactly where the rebel's gonna be, and they don't really have much space to reposition to. If the footsteps all go in front of you instead of behind you, then you know that there's nothing in the 20% of the map behind you, and you can focus your efforts on the 80% in front of you. Utilizing this 80-20 rule makes clearing the map much more efficient, and it'll help you get a lot more use out of your Mysterious Hunch. I would definitely advocate you go for Mysterious Hunch rather than Sensor Aura, because Mysterious Hunch can give you an idea of which direction to look in when you're looking for rebels. Whereas if you're using Sensor Aura, you have to run around the entire map in order to get potential use out of it. In this next hunter game, I got the same map, so I'm using Mysterious Hunch in the same location. This time, all the footsteps are out in front of me, so I know that I don't have to check this strong high-low position where I spawned. I first checked this big tower because I know it's a strong position, and rebels always seem to go there. Once I captured this guy, I actually forgot where the other footsteps went, so I'm kind of just waiting for Mysterious Hunch's cooldown to end. Right now, I'm aware that the last strong position is this crooked tower here, but I don't want to approach it just yet without my skills up. So right now, I'm just trying to look around the middle of the map and make sure that no rebels are trying to move into spaces that I've already cleared. Once my cooldown is reset, I use Mysterious Hunch, and it shows me that indeed 2 people are near this tower. I actually made several mistakes climbing this tower, which potentially meant that this Shao could have seen me and tried to get away. However, they might not have seen me because of how close I was to the tower by the time I was climbing up and using my skills. The weakness of those strong elevated positions is that once you get close to them, rebels have a hard time with their third-person camera to be able to see what's directly below them or just behind walls. And the final thing that I want to point out is even though I was pretty confident that a rebel was nearby, I decided to drop everything in order to get this favor because I knew it'd be a guaranteed win if I got it. And if I let this rebel steal it from me, I might have a much harder time tracking them down and finding them. Damn, that's a lot of points. So to summarize the main points for hunters, the first thing you want to do is make sure you're getting the max value out of your Mysterious Hunch. That means you're looking at the floor and focusing on the footsteps, you're positioning yourself in a high open area before you cast, and you want to utilize the 80-20 rule to clear space most efficiently. You also want to make sure that you're securing the favor. Look at the timer before the spawn happens, somewhere between 2 to 1 minute. You want to be in a good elevated position to be able to get to anywhere it might spawn quickly. Once you do get the favor, you want to look for all the rebels before insight expires after around 30 seconds. Get a general sense of where people are and where they might go to. And finally, you want to use your third-person camera to misdirect with your movement. You could be looking backwards while moving forwards in order to see if anybody's trying to reposition behind you while you're doing something else. You want to be looking around the area whenever you get the chance to, so that rebels don't get a chance to reposition while you're distracted. If a rebel gets away with repositioning their location, your job as the hunter becomes much more difficult. In this rebel game, I mess up trying to climb up this roof. Some parts of this roof you can climb like this, but sometimes you can't. So knowing when and where you can climb will save your life. I'm forced in a bad spot, so I look for an opportunity to get to the top of the roof. Definitely the strongest position on this map. Once I'm up there, I notice that the hunter is below me and nearby. I'm not able to see them with the third-person camera, so I'm looking at my mini-map. Once I see the little triangle disappear below the hunter's icon, I jump away, because that means the hunter is climbing up towards my elevation, and I decide to jump away before they are able to see which direction I'm going towards. But because the hunter has cleared me off the strongest part of the map, I'm now stuck in the open and I have to disguise. Luckily, I find an opportunity to run away when she looks in a different direction, and then I try to put as much distance between us as possible. Here I'm too focused on getting away from the hunter that I don't realize that I'm actually in a good position to steal the favor. Once I do realize, I do go for it, but I run straight into the hunter and get chased. I use transparency and I'm able to pass her, but because I didn't disguise before transparency ended, a blue flash at my location tells the hunter exactly where I am. At this point, things might have still been okay if I didn't mess up my transformations and then accidentally climb this barrel, but because I messed up, the hunter catches me. However, because I stole the favor from the hunter, they aren't able to use it in order to find the last rebel, and now they're in a pretty bad spot. Keep in mind that as rebels, you are on a team. If you're able to deny the favor from the hunter, even if you yourself get captured, you give the rest of your team a really nice shot at staying alive. In my opinion, it's absolutely worth it to try to contest the favor. In this game, I decided to use a cheeky hiding spot that I know about, which is on the side of this building as a lamp. Hunters need to be aware of spots like this and look for any objects in places where they shouldn't be. However, because I was committed to staying disguised, I didn't realize that the favor was coming down soon and I was in a pretty bad position to get the favor. The hunter gets it and uses insight. In my opinion, insight's definitely the best favor to use as the hunter, because knowing the location of all three rebels, however brief, is just too valuable to pass up. If you find yourself up against a hunter with insight, just try to run them for as long as possible. Make sure you're split up as the rebels, and once the 30 seconds or so of insight is up, the hunter's gonna be back in a position where it's hard to find people hiding. Although this hunter knew where I was, because I was on the roof and I forced her to chase me, I'm able to get away when she starts climbing. However, I kind of put myself in a bad spot and I disguised last second. If the hunter properly checked me there, they would have seen that I was clipping through the barrels and that would be an easy catch. But I get away, and then I use my transparency when she gets close because I'm expecting just a random capture off cooldown. And using my transparency, I disguise around the corner before the 3 seconds are up, and I don't flash blue. However, if the hunter was close to me, they would hear the little plop sound as I get into my disguise. This hunter might have had a good chance of catching me if she stayed around the place where I disappeared. The 3 seconds you have to disappear isn't that long of a time, and you essentially are forced to disguise yourself as a rebel. So as the hunter, so long as you don't stray too far and you do your due diligence and check all the disguises nearby, you have a pretty good shot at finding a rebel who is vulnerable in a bad position. So to recap the most important things for rebels, first you want to contest the favor. If you can punish a hunter for not directly guarding the favor, even if it means getting captured yourself, Denying the favor puts your team at a huge advantage. Although usually if you're using transparency and you get the favor, you have a good shot at getting away. As a rebel, you want to stay in strong positions that have elevation, where you can see the hunters coming from, and you're around a lot of obstacles that you can potentially escape to. The skill transparency is just too good to pass up, and using it in combination with your movement in order to lose a hunter who is chasing you is a very strong tactic. Once you're invisible, you can either misdirect the hunter by going in the opposite direction, or you can try to create as much distance as possible from your last seen location. That's about it for me. If you want to see more videos of my Windtrace games, you can check that out down below. If you liked this kind of video, let me know in the comments, and I'll see you guys next time. Later.